Chef Jessica Ray, and we're here at Viking in Atlanta, and today we're going to talk to you about how to make homemade stock. Okay? Stock is very, very important because it's the basics for most of your dishes like stews, soups, and your sauces. If you don't have a good stock, you can't have a good soup, sauce, or stew. Okay? And let me first talk to you a little bit about the differences between the stuff that you can buy in the store and the homemade stuff. Now, when you're making it homemade, you're going to know every single ingredient that you're putting into that stock, okay? So you know that everything's fresh and everything is nice and preservative-free. Very important. The little bouillon cubes that your mom uses, probably, what you have to worry about with those is they have a lot of extra sodium, okay? So you want to be real careful about that. Also, your box broths is what they call those, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. Those will have extra preservatives and sodium, so you really want to watch, get in the habit of reading the back of the boxes. Now, the difference between the stock and a broth is going to be the care that you put into it, okay? When you put a whole chicken into the pot with water and a few veggies and boil that, that's actually a broth. A stock, now we start with bones. We've got chicken bones here. And what we've done is roasted these. These have already been roasted. And I've actually got an oven full of bones. They're in a roasting pan. Got them up real high heat. And what we want to do is get some color on those, okay? And so the first thing we'll do is we'll take our bones and we'll place them right into our stock pot, okay? Now, I don't have anything else in this pot. Just our bones that we roasted to get that beautiful color, okay? You can also do this with beef or veal. And believe it or not, you can make vegetable stock. And what I would recommend when you're making vegetable stock is just to caramelize your veggies a bit to get some color, okay? Now, we don't want any of this excess fat because we want our stock to be nice and lean. So that is why I didn't pour the pan. And now what we're going to add is our mirepoix. Does everybody know what mirepoix is? Mirepoix is another one of those base items, and it consists of onions, carrots, and celery. Traditionally, you're going to use about 50% onions and 25 each of the carrots and celery, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're just going to have a rough chop, so don't worry about those knife skills for stock. You can just rough chop them. But consequently, if you do have problems with your knife skills, you can come to Viking and take our knife skills class. All right, so I'm just going to give those a nice rough chop. And by the way, have you noticed that I've left the peeling on those? I've also left the peeling on my carrots, just gave them a nice wash. The peeling on these vegetables also adds to our color, okay? So I'm just going to add those right in. Nice chunks. Now, the key to stock is you're going to cook it for hours and hours. Here at Viking, we have huge stock pots that we fill full of stock, and we cook it for 48 hours. Now, at home, that's probably not as practical. So what you can do is you can use your slow cooker, and you can keep it in there for 24 hours at a time. Put it in the refrigerator, cool it down, take it back out, reduce it a little bit more each time until you get a really nice dark color. Now what I'm doing here is I'm taking some parsley stems. We use the leaves for our vinaigrettes, for our sauces, so this is something you can use your stems for. And now I've got some thyme, and I'm just going to kind of bruise it up a little bit with my hand. Stick that in there. Some bay leaves, very important, say 4 or 5. Some whole black peppercorns, okay? I'm probably going to use about 15 of those. And then I've got some garlic cloves already peeled for me. And I'm just going to take my knife and smash them, okay? And that helps release the flavors inside, okay? Now I'm going to add that. I'm going to move this over to the stove. I'm going to add some cold water. Why cold water, you ask, right? Okay. What happens is when this cooks, your fat will coagulate. What that means is it'll start to harden, if you will, okay, and get chunky. And we don't want our stock to have a cloudy appearance, okay? We want it to stay nice and clean looking. So we're going to use cold water, bring it up very gently to a simmer. We never want it to boil, okay? Just keep it at a nice simmer. And simmering is if you have a few little bubbles and a little bit of sound, a little bit of movement, that's a simmer. We don't want a rolling boil. Okay, so we're going to put cold water just to cover everything up. And then we're going to turn it on. And we're going to turn it on about a medium. And then once it starts to simmer, we can turn it back down to low and keep it nice and low, okay? And this is actually our finished product. And what we do at Viking is we strain it. You have to cool it down very gently, okay? You don't ever want to put it in the refrigerator hot. You want to cool it down in an ice bath. You want to strain it through a fine mesh strainer, okay, to get all the impurities and pieces of everything out. And then what we do is we put it into containers and freeze it. And that way you've got all your stock made for the whole winter or the whole summer even, and you can just keep it in the freezer. Now, something you can do at home also is you can freeze it in your ice cube trays. Just take your ice cube, pour your stock in, freeze it, and then once they're frozen, dump them out into a Ziploc bag, label it chicken stock, and put the date on there, and you're good to go all winter. Okay, and don't forget that if you ever have questions or if you want to talk to the chefs one-on-one, you can go to vikingtogo.com and look at our community section. Thank you so much.